Hello everyone and welcome to my review for Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 162. Not much to say about most of this chapter. Most of it is Yuji beating the fodder helicopter guy. He is fodder. The choreography is nice and all, but I could not give a single fuck about helicopter guy. I know he gets a name in this chapter, but I can't even remember it. So, the actual important stuff starts when Amai comes to talk to Yuji. And we find out that he does know Yuji because Yuji was famous in their middle school or junior high school, whatever, the Tiger of West High or something. And he is telling Yuji where he can find Higuruma. At the same time that Remy is telling Megumi where Higuruma is. And the twist comes in that both of them give completely different answers. Amai says that he's in Ikebukuro, and Remy says that he's in Shinjuku. So, who's lying here? Who is the one not telling the truth? One truth and a lie. Well, for starters, Remy is the very obvious choice. I had predicted that it was... I think I predicted it was Remy in the reaction. I'm like, oh yeah, she's full of shit. I mean, just look at her. Look at that facial expression. We already know that Remy is sussy as fuck. She's got sort of the scorpion hair going on. Some people think that this is going to be a Scorpion and the Toads type situation with her and Megumi, where she'll screw over Megumi even if it's to her own detriment. So there's already very much questionable about her. On the other hand, Amai sort of went up to Yuji, and when he was questioning him, he was thinking about how, oh, he's on guard and stuff like that. How to most efficiently gain his trust and get him to listen to him. And that's a little bit strange as well. I'm pretty sure he also says that he was with those other guys because he was pretty much, like, threatened into doing so. So maybe it's possible that he was working with them to eventually lure them into end of the chapter person. Who knows? But as pointed out by Bob in the comments for the reaction, Ikebukuro is apparently a super huge shopping center. Like, there's just a ton of shops and malls there or whatever. And that may have something to do with all of the receipts that this guy seemingly has wherever he's hanging out. So it's quite likely that Amai is actually the one luring Yuji to this guy. So this would mean that Yuji is going to be dealing with Receipt Guy, while Megumi is actually going to have the fight with Higuruma. Well, whoever's lying, Megumi or Yuji is going to end up facing the new guy, and whoever's telling the truth, Megumi or Yuji is going to end up fighting Higuruma. So, it's going to be a mystery to find out who is telling the truth and who is going to be fighting who in the next few chapters. Let's get into this guy at the end. He says, "When will that child bring me my next pitiful prey?" He's sitting around in this dark room in his underwear for some reason. I mean, he seems like one of those people that just kind of lounges around the house in their underwear. I don't know. That's the thing people do. So I guess he's just chilling really hard right now in this void. I don't know. He's in a place that doesn't seem to really have that great of lighting. And he's got receipts everywhere. Like dozens of them. If you look at them, they would appear to be some kind of shopping receipts of some kind. And it's very clear that this guy is directing either Amai or Remy to bring him prey. Presumably, he is using other people to very easily rack up points in the culling game. Now, what is this guy's deal? What is his power exactly? considering all of the receipts and the fact that he has other people do stuff for him, I have seen some theories that maybe his technique has something to do with binding vows and basically loans. It's kind of like that one chimera ant, I think, where he is able to loan out power to people, and they owe him in return. So basically, this guy, for one possibility, he makes a deal with one of these two that they go out and they find people for him to kill. And in return, he gives them, I don't know, some kind of boost in their cursed energy, or he increases the efficiency of their technique. Basically, he gives people the benefits of revealing your hand, something like that. I assume this is some kind of situation where people do things for him and they get stuff in return, or he gives stuff to them. He gives them some kind of power boost or something temporarily, maybe provides them with some kind of security, though that doesn't really have much to do with the technique. I'm assuming that the receipts, the debts, have something to do with this guy's technique. He gives them something, and in return, they have to find victims for him. Either way, whatever his ability turns out to be, this certainly adds an interesting little dynamic to the start of the Cullen game. The start has been relatively slow so far, which is really not that surprising. Most of the arcs start off kind of slow, and then once we really get into shit, we really get into shit. But the introduction of this new villain guy is quite interesting. I'm quite excited to see what his deal is going to be and how he's going to play into the grand scheme of things. I do definitely think that all of these receipts are going to have something to do with his power. It feels like a really weird thing to have when he's clearly made some kind of deal with one of these two, only for it to not have anything to do with his power. And he has a lot of names on here. He just has a shit ton of them. Like, how many are these? There's got to be a few dozen. Now, I don't know if this is just him stealing the receipts from, like, a store or something. I don't know why the fuck he would do that. Maybe it's to track people that are in the colony or something. Like, he can see people who have been in here. Or if these are people that he's made deals with, or if these are, like, a list of all of the people who are members of my Patreon. Speaking of, special thanks to Fuse, Neo, Dijon Redden, Anthony Chavez, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Chris Redfield, Scratch23, Rat, Ryzen 4K, Artist, Mac Campaign, Wave of Manga, and Sam the Ace. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at some point in the video, or access to reviews for solo leveling in the Boxer, you can always become a patron as well. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. But yeah, this dude is definitely, I don't know, maybe some kind of like a loan shark or something. I know the tattoo on his arm has something to do with Buddhism, conviction, or determination. I'm curious as to what exactly that's going to mean. Maybe if he determines that someone has a conviction to accomplish something, maybe a conviction to live, I don't know, he'll make a deal with them. Maybe he's not, going to make deals with just anybody. Maybe he'll only agree to work with certain people. Who knows? But we'll just have to wait to find out in future chapters. So with that, that's all I have to say for this week's review. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reactions and reviews every week. If you enjoy discussing Jujutsu Kaisen with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have linked to that down in the description. Until next time, I'll see you guys around. Take care.